Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Sound Off Sports. We got a great show. We're talking about the AFC West. Are the Chargers the new kings of that division? Plus, A'ja Wilson gets her 4th MVP. Is she the GOAT? Is she the greatest WNBA player of all time? Plus, later on, Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Marino joins us here in the studio. You don't want to miss it. SOS starts right now.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
Are the Chargers the new kings of the AFC West? Eric Travis on Facebook says, Chargers could win 13 easy. Their ceiling right now is Super Bowl contenders, but that's if they continue looking this way.
Hello and welcome to Sound Off Sports. Mike Davis here alongside my main man, James Edward Barrickman IV, looking tropical today.
Sir. Somebody told me that I look like somebody that works at the desk at the Four Seasons.
Four Seasons is big time. You're like you're service.
This is pretty nice.
Staff at the White Lotus.
Yeah, I was also saying Robert De Niro and Dirty Grandpa. This, if you could see my pants, you'd see the full look. But this is not my usual.
But you look
my usual work.
You look good.
I'm so uncomfortable. I can't wait to take this off.
Okay, well,
Sorry.
We'll get done the show quick for you. Listen, guys, a lot to talk about. We're going to kick things off with the AFC West. We want to know, we asked everybody at home, 702-855-3502, if the Chargers, sitting at 3-0 right now, are the new kings of the AFC West. James, let's hear our first voicemail.
Hey, Mike, it's Phil from Summerlin. Oakland native, lifelong Raider fan. Oh, man, the Chiefs, you know what's going to happen. They're going to turn it on late in the season and storm into the playoffs, and they're going to take the AFC West. I hate to say it, but I think we both know it's true, man. Cheers.
All right, my main man, Phil from Summerlin, thanks for giving us a call. Phil's kind of right. You always get that vibe, that feeling that the Chiefs can turn it on late,
it's in the back of your
especially
head.
with Rice coming back later, Worthy being out, all that stuff. But the Chiefs 1-2 right now. Here's what's crazy, though. They play Baltimore.
How big is that game going to be?
That's a huge game.
Massive.
2 teams, 1-2. So, I mean, that's crazy.
I think both teams end up making the playoffs, but 1-3 for the loser of that game is tough sledding.
It's crazy.
And I feel bad for the next team that has to play
the
loser.
I don't see Baltimore losing back-to-back after that. So that's why I think, let's just say the Chiefs lose that. They're 1-3. Then they play Jacksonville. Let's say they win that, okay? After that, they play Detroit. So they could be 2-4 easily. And that's without Rice back.
Yeah, those first-place schedules that the NFL does are no joke. It does not get easier.
And then when you look at the flip side, of course, we're thinking about the Raiders. They have a major opportunity right now with the Chiefs being down for the count, with the Broncos being worse than we anticipated with everything Sean Payton could have done there. But the Chargers sitting pretty 3-0. They play the Giants now in Jackson Dart's first start. So that's a win, 4-0. Then Washington with Jaden not being 100%, Miami and the Colts. Even if they lose one of those randomly, they're 6-1.
They're pretty easily looking at 7-0 there as well.
So this is all part of the craziness. Of course, they lose Harris. They have a Marion Hampton rookie running back, 22nd overall pick, going to take that top spot now. But the real reason why this is occurring is because Jim Harbaugh finally got a hold of Justin Herbert, and he's playing MVP football. He leads the NFL in passing yards through the first 3 games, 860 yards.
Having maybe the best season of his career.
MVP caliber.
And we knew this is what he was capable of. We saw the talent, and we were all just wondering, when is Justin Herbert going to get a real head coach in the building or a real play caller in the building to take that talent to the moon, and we're seeing it now with Jim Harbaugh.
And he doesn't have Rashawn Slater, so he's missing a tackle. It's not like, Keenan Allen's still an older guy. Lad McConkey's not playing the best
There's
ball
talent
of
in
his
the building
life.
offensively.
There's talent there, but Herbert just looks different. 6 touchdown passes, 1 interception, dating Madison Beer.
Does it get any better for the guy?
An influencer, model-ish type of girl. So there's a lot of good stuff happening there in Justin Herbert's life right now, and for the Chargers sitting pretty at 3-0. What's your take on this situation? Are they the new kings of the AFC West? Are the Chiefs really down for the count and not not going to make it back to that first place spot.
I don't think the Chiefs are down for the count, but I can't remember an NFL dynasty facing this big of a threat within their own division. Bill and Brady, they never had anybody like this, maybe until Josh Allen, but that was when that dynasty was at the end of its run anyway. They weren't going any further than they already had. I think when you look at this Chargers team, they can go toe-to-toe with Kansas City at those two most important spots, quarterback, head coach. Jim Harbaugh, and I know a lot of people clowned our guy Colin Cowherd for saying this the other day, but there is an argument to be made that Jim Harbaugh is the greatest coach of all time. I'm not saying that he is. I'm saying there's an argument to be made. When you look at where he's won and how often he's won, he has never not won at any of his stops. San Diego State, Stanford, the Niners, Michigan, and now the Chargers. So they have a head coach that can go toe-to-toe with Andy Reid. And Justin Herbert, we know that he is about as talented as they come. And now we're seeing with Jim Harbaugh in the building, he's playing, like you said, MVP football. So they can go toe-to-toe with Kansas City at the head coach and quarterback spot. And you look at the rest of their roster now, it's as good, if not better, than Kansas City's. They definitely have better offensive weapons at this moment who are healthy. And we'll see again when the Chiefs get Rice and Worthy back. But I don't have a problem saying the Chargers are the new kings of the AFC West. And you look at the ages. Justin Herbert, 27. Mahomes is 30 already. Is that not crazy to think about?
Chris Jones.
Yeah, he's getting older. Kelsey's aging out, and Andy Reid, he's 67. Harbaugh's only 61.
And let's talk about this. I mean, Harbaugh is known for running the football. They're not really running that effectively right now.
No.
So if Hampton steps into this role and is a true first-round talent and plays up to the hype that teams believed he could be, now with Harris being out, suffering the torn Achilles for the season, if that starts to develop and they get the run game and the pass game going together, plus Jesse Minter's defense looking good, the Chargers really could be the new kings of the AFC West. We want to thank Phil from Summerlin for calling in. You can always give us a call, 702-855-3502. But before we crown Justin Herbert the new king of the quarterback position, coming up after the break, we got one of the few kings, the true kings, a Hall of Fame quarterback, Dan Marino, joining me here in the studio next.
Are the Chargers the new kings of the AFC West? John Cruz on Facebook says, I would wait till the end of the season to see who's king.
Welcome back to SOS. Mike Davis here. So I am joined by one of the greats, one of the all-time Hall of Famers, best quarterbacks to ever do it, Dan Marino. He joins me here in the studio. Let's check more from this great conversation with the legend. Everything you did, 82 Sugar Bowl, that win over UGA, all that stuff. But then you come into the league, and it's not until as a rookie, week 6, I believe, you actually start playing and you become Rookie of the Year and you take this team to 12-4. What did it feel like? Because we're seeing now in the NFL, so many of these guys, the Aaron Rodgers, the Jordan Love, they get their time on the bench to develop. Week 6, you're thrown in.
Yeah,
and you start to, creating magic right away. How were you overwhelmed, or how did you feel?
I don't think I felt, I felt pretty comfortable remembering back. Don Strock was like our backup quarterback, and there was David Woodley, but Don was kind of like my coach and Coach Shula, and I was blessed with a veteran offensive line and some receivers, and Duper, Clayton, those guys pretty special, and the veteran guys that were there. I didn't feel overwhelmed. But at first, we played a couple games where I didn't do so well, but then it kind of took off for me, and it was good. It was a good rookie year.
And what happened between then and the second season? Because the second season is when you go to Super Bowl 19. Things just take off. What happened for you as a player mentally and just on the field that changed? It was something clicked, obviously.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's your second year, right? So after your first year, and I was fortunate enough to make Rookie of the Year, and I had a lot of help doing that. The second year is the same guys. You have, I had Clayton, who was a rookie with me, Duper coming in. He was a year ahead of us, Nat Moore, Jimmy Cephalo, the tight ends. and Dwight Stevenson was my center. He's a Hall of Fame center. So it just kind of clicked at that time, and we were rolling, and we had to, and the funny part is as time went on and we broke all those records, it was like just part of trying to win. Like we weren't thinking about, I wasn't thinking about breaking the individual touchdown record, but it happened, right? I wasn't thinking about the yardage, the 5,000 yards, but it happened because we were trying to win games to get into the playoffs. We ended up being the first seed.
Yeah.
But we had to win our last game to be the first seed. So it wasn't like we were just cruising along.
No, you beat Seattle, who I think you lost to the year before.
But we had to beat Dallas last game of the year too, and that's when Clayton caught 3 touchdowns in one game and broke the receiving touchdown record too.
Okay.
Mark
Clayton, yeah, legend. So and then you had to end up in that AFC Championship game. You beat Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Which must have felt.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
That must.
Sorry,
have
dude.
James over there. But yes, 48 touchdowns was a record at that time. Most passing yards in the season, just over 5,000 with 84, plus MVP. So it was crazy stuff. And then when you're thinking back, you're finally at Super Bowl 19. You're playing Joe Montana, and it's like, I was at Central Catholic High School not too long ago in Pittsburgh. Now I'm playing in the Super Bowl. It's not a regular game, right? I mean, tell us. We're learning.
Was just, the thing is, I think I was young, right? I still think I'm the youngest quarterback to ever play in a Super Bowl today. Pretty close. I think I was like 23, barely 23 years old or something. But playing against the Steelers to win that game, to get in the Super Bowl was special to me. And then playing in the Super Bowl, I mean, I felt like we should be there. And then after we lost, and they beat up on us a little bit, and Joe's special friend, he's a friend and a special player. I just felt like we should have been there, and I was going to get back many more times, and it never happened.
That's what people say all the time.
Yeah. I figured, well, okay, we lost this one. We'll be back next year, the year after, whatever, and it didn't.
It's crazy. And, there's so many special things to break down about the way you were as a player and so many things to ask you. But 17 seasons, the longevity, playing with one franchise, it's so special. Looking back on your career, what comes to mind about the pinch me moments? Because, I mean, you've done so much more. You were doing Sunday pregame stuff, for years, on CBS, and we have the movie stuff to talk about that we got to get to. But when you think of, which is tremendous too, but when you really did it. There's so many guys, and that's why I love that first round story about being that 6th guy taken, because everybody's special when you're drafted. Mm-hmm. But to actually make it happen, and to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time, it's the hardest position to play in all of sports, right?
I agree with you. Hardest position to play. No
and
doubt.
Why?
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Because, you're dealing with so much as a quarterback, right? You're dealing with the play itself when you're on the field. Plus, off the field is dealing with other players, trying to be a leader, all the other media stuff you got to deal with. But really, to be that kind of player as a quarterback, I mean, it's the preparation, it's the mental thing, it's communication with your surrounding your 11 that you're doing with, watching tape together, looking at things together. But it's all on you, and when it comes down to all of a sudden the clock's running down, you got to get a playoff, all that stuff. You got to decide in seconds what's going to happen, make good decisions. All that makes it the toughest thing to do in sports.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Dan, but I think so much of what we're seeing, because your draft, that 83 draft, we know about the 6 quarterbacks that went. But then 2024 was a big draft because it matched that number of 6 quarterbacks. You had Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, right? Drake May. Those were the 6 guys that got selected. To me, we're starting to see in the second year, people aren't maybe developing the way we saw a guy like you develop. And I think there's so much noise now with NFL media, but to me, tell me if I'm wrong, I just think... All right, to listen to the full conversation, we talk Ace Ventura, we talk so much good stuff, make sure you go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports.
You're watching Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
Is Asia Wilson the greatest WNBA player of all time? Muffy Edmondson on Facebook says, not hardly, and she shouldn't have won MVP again.
All right, welcome back to Sound of Sports. Mike Davis here. As always, give us a buzz, 702-855-3502. We asked everybody at home if Asia Wilson, after winning her 4th MVP, is she the greatest WNBA basketball player of all time? She becomes the first, James, to be crowned 4 times as an MVP. There's never been a 4-time MVP before her.
At 28. She's 28 years old.
It's
4
crazy.
MVPs.
Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Lauren Jackson, they each have 3 MVPs, but Asia Wilson becomes just the first player ever to get 4 of those MVPs. Her boyfriend, Bam Adebayo from the Miami Heat, presenting her the trophy. So much stuff to talk about. Of course, Becky Hammon, the head coach, saying, you're not even on the Mount Rushmore. You're Everest. Saying, you're just the greatest of all time. And
that's coming from a
Becky
legend
Hammon.
In her own right.
Right. This is 8 seasons of Asia Wilson's career. 4 of them, she has captured the MVP. It's actually insanity.
When you think about, and we talk about this a lot too, it's just Mount Rushmore of Las Vegas sports.
Right.
At what point does she go on there over a lot of the people we've talked about? But nonetheless, Asia Wilson, you just look at her resume, like you said, and again, 8 seasons. She's only 28 years old. She has her whole career still in front of her. I mean, 4 MVPs, 2 titles, Rookie of the Year, 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-WNBA, Finals MVP, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time scoring champ. And she's 28. That's an entire 20 years worth of accolades, and she did it in 8 years.
And she won in college.
Yeah. She has a statue. She already has a statue
at college at South Carolina.
They usually wait for you to retire or pass before they build you a statue.
No, she's
still playing.
It's insanity. And the truth is, you bring a good point, James, to this, because she already has the resume fit for top 5 WNBA player of all time. That's clear cut. The question now is, she can maybe win this 4 more times.
Yeah.
Like, this is somebody still in their prime. This is
at the peak of her prime right now, right?
It's crazy. And the sad thing is, that WNBA had so much juice at the beginning of the season because of Caitlin Clark and all the things going on around the league, Sophie Cunningham, blah, 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 all this stuff. Now, the Aces in the playoffs playing the Fever, no Caitlin Clark because she's removed for the season because of, all the injuries she had this year. It's a shame because the amount of attention that Asia would have just had, it would have generated so much attention, and Asia really would have gotten that spotlight to really not only just showcase her prowess, but to show everybody around the league and basketball heads, hey, Caitlin Clark's fun to watch, but Asia Wilson is the WNBA when it comes to dominance, So it's just a shame that that's not happening. What's your feeling on Asia, in terms of if this would probably be the most impressive title, considering, her 2 that, she already has. This would be, her putting the team on her back.
I would say so. Just considering the way they started, they were a middling 500 team for a good portion of the season there, and then all of a sudden ripped off how many games in a row heading into the playoffs, almost set the WNBA record. I would probably agree with you with losing Kelsey Plum and then adding a piece. It's some new. It's not their usual cohesive big 3 to 4 that they have. So I think if they go on to win this, it would be probably Asia Wilson's most impressive title of her career.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but Asia Wilson, the best athlete in all of Las Vegas, showing her dominance, back-to-back MVPs, her 4th, the first player ever in WNBA history to get that 4th crowned MVP. Congratulations to Asia Wilson. Guys, coming up after a short break, we have an interesting voicemail. You want to make sure you call us, 702-855-3502. We're showing you an interesting voicemail we got.
You call us, we'll air it.
That's how we do it.
That's how we do it here.
Thank you. That's how we do it, James. All right, guys. Stick around. After the break, a great voicemail from one of our loyal listeners.
Is Asia Wilson the greatest WNBA player of all time? Jimmy Nunez on Facebook says, not in my book. Definitely isn't a people's choice.
welcome back. Time for Sink or Swim. We got a great call from Ruben. As always, 702-855-3502. We want to hear from you. Give us a buzz. Let's hear what Ruben had to say via voicemail.
Oy vey, Uncle Pete, little Mark. You'll never win with the college offense and a high school defense. No Raider pride. Pizza, pizza. Still on. Everybody's invited. Ruben out.
All right, James. So Ruben giving us a call. Thanks to Ruben. Another gem from Ruben.
Ruben's 2 for 2.
The pizza party comment. He's doing the Little Caesars jingle for
He's got
us.
a bone to pick with Pete.
He has a big
And all I'll say to Ruben, just manage your expectations. And I should say this to all of Raider Nation. Manage your expectations. This was not going to be a playoff team in year 1 of Pete Carroll. He'll get you there, but it's a work in progress. It wasn't going to be year 1.
To me, I'm an optimist. I'm like Phil from Summerlin. You know, I'm thinking, okay, Raiders, you got the Super Bowl winning head coach. You got the starting quarterback in Geno, who's more than better than average, as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Now you're like, okay, the Chiefs, the heavyweight champs of this AFC West don't look like the heavyweight champs, They
don't look like the heavyweight champs.
So this is an opportunity. This is prime time to pounce in this division and make something happen while the Chiefs don't look like the Chiefs. So you never know. You string a few wins together, maybe you sneak into the playoffs, but maybe I'm just glass half full.
Be real with yourself, Mike Davis. This Raiders team is not a playoff team. The AFC West is too competitive. The Chiefs don't look like the Chiefs.
Week 1?
Yes.
I thought
the Raiders were not going to be a playoff team in year 1. They're not good enough. They don't have the talent. Pete will get you there. They don't have the quarterback. They don't have the O-line. Defense needs some pieces. Pete will get you there, but it wasn't going to be year 1.
I'm praying with you, Phil from Summerlin. That's all I'm going to say. Editor Jess, co-host James, thanks so much. I'm Mike Davis. We'll see you next time. As always, 702-855-3502. Give us a call. We'll see you next time here on Sound Off Sports.